Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Hello, testing.
This is the volume at which I'll be speaking today.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Awesome.
This mic, coming through on this microphone.
Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. It was working the other day when we used it.
It was low level though,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So when you tap it up, I'm getting levels. I can hear the tap.
One.
You might now speak right into it.
And then now just get you.
Testing, testing, 1, 2.
One.
That was just the cable thing.
Yes. So if it's here, is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello everybody and welcome to Jack Edwards Reserve for this round 3 Young Men's Victoria catch-up game between Oakley Cannons and Altona Magic here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Nick Devato and Ed Gooden here today in Melbourne South East for this game. Ed, we were here a couple of weeks ago where Oakley were leading 3-0 at the break against Altona, but of course that game was called off due to a serious injury sustained by Aaron O'Driscoll on the day. But a couple of weeks later we're back here and ready for the replay.
Back and excited, Nick, man. Nothing better than one dose of Jack Edwards Reserve action, but 2 or 1.5. I'll take that every day of the week. Yeah, Aaron O'Driscoll was chatting to the physio before the start of the game today. He suffered a pretty serious concussion during that fixture. Obviously, the physio and the medical team taking every precaution they could. And ambulance arriving, but not quite in time to restart the game. But good to see Aaron was out warming up, just doing some run-throughs, not playing in today's game, but good to see him getting back to some light footballing action.
Of course, if you're wondering why there are no spectators here tonight at the Jack Edwards Reserve, Football Victoria made the decision on Saturday to ban spectators from attending today's game as a result of an incident at Friday night's game between Oakley Cannons and Dandenong Thunder, which is still being actively investigated at the moment. So for today's game, no spectators permitted by club officials and players and staff and us here today. And if you're watching on, it's great to have your company here on this Monday night, a very warm Monday night. Temperature still sitting at around 35 degrees after a little bit of a heat wave down south here in Victoria. But Ed, both these teams coming into this game off a bit of an interesting run of form. The last game Oakley played that actually ended was a 1-1 draw against Dandy City just over a week ago, while Altona, on the other hand, a 4-2 win away at Green Gully on Friday night, which saw them claim their first points of the season. A step in the right direction for the Magic after a bit of a disappointing start that saw them take no points from their opening 3 games of the season.
Interesting to see how Altona changed things as well, Nick, man. Obviously, Oakley have their style of play. The press was really devastating against Altona, and they struggled to really make anything happen on the counter-attack. They've made a couple changes to the starting lineup, which I'm sure you'll get to, but very interested to see what the coaching staff do here and whether Oakley can predict the changes that Oakley are going to, or Altona rather, are going to make.
We're getting underway here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Oakley in their home blue kits, kicking from right to left, while Altona in their away yellow kits, kicking from left to right. We'll take you through the starting lineups in just a second as Saad Mukashar plays it out wide. Here's Paul Girard, who's been the man in form as of late. He's now up to 3 goals this season. He's joined in attack by the likes of Daniel Fabrizio, Mohamed Al-Nawar. Playing right back today, Saad Mukashar, number 10 Mitch Sahavic, number 8 Stephen Lawless, along with number 6 John Stajewski, number 5 Nedim Skenderovic, number 3 Jordan Delidas, number 88 Christian Rossi, and of course number 26 Jalad Razai. Well, for Oakley today, Nick Feely in goals, we're in the number 1 today. In defence, number 4, Brodie Boyce. In the attack, number 7, Hughes Wary, making his first start for the Cannons. Ball sent forward down that right-hand side towards Fabrizio. Plays it centrally, looking for Joao, but McGill gets across to intercept. Playing the ball up the line immediately. The ball's put into touch for a throw-in. The rest of that starting line up for Oakley. Number 9, Alex Salmon. Number 10, Joe Guest. Number 11, Mooney Batis. Number 13, Hamish Miller. Number 14, Kingsley Sinclair. Number 19, Oliver Kubalay. Number 23, Emlyn Wellsville. Communication between Guest and Atis. It does fall to Atis in the end, and Altona looking to break back the other way. Recycle possession there, the Magic. Of course, last Friday night as well, Oakley were leading 2-0 against Dandenong Thunder. That game was also abandoned. Guess looking for the flick on. Rolls all the way through to Delidas. Lawless. Here's Mukashar, scored one of the goals of the week last Friday. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it was an absolute belter to wrap up the points at Green Gully Reserve. It's Lawless. Feeds it over the top. It's a great ball for Fabrizio. Getting across is Miller. They're getting back, and his pass intercepted there by McGill. They're looking to break back the other way. Good ball looking for Mooney Batis. Trusts his speed. And here is Atis is absolutely electric when he gets going down the flank, but well defended by El Wallahi, who clears it away. McGill. Here is Adis. Getting it back to Kingsley Sinclair. New faces in the starting 11. No Connor Hampson today for Oakley. Ed is just looking to feed through Adis, and ball go out. It's kept alive by Adis, I believe.
Yes,
referee waves play on. Alex Salmon shoots, and Oakley take the lead. A miscommunication at the back. The flag did not go up from the assistant referee on the far side. Referee Michael Manners played play on, and Alex Salmon scores yet again this season. His third for the Cannons, and Oakley take a lead within minutes, Ed.
Strange circumstances, Nick, man. Everyone, even I think the referee, looking towards the assistant referee on that far side, but no flag goes up and play goes on, and Oakley, the benefactors of Altona, waiting and wishing that ball to be called out, but a good finish in the end, but a strange goal to concede, and I could not imagine anything more frustrating for Altona, to be honest, to start this game.
Picked up right where they left off in the last meeting, Ed. Alex Salmon opened the scoring in that game as well, and we saw how destructive he was on that occasion. But that one does count. But Ed, the one name off the team sheet today for Oakley, Connor Hampson, been a key for the Oakley Cannons in defence, so what can you expect, I guess, from a set-piece perspective? He's been so dangerous and losing a big weapon for them, especially when they're in those areas from corners or free kicks.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, Nick, man, last week it was just a devastating onslaught from Oakley in all different directions, but one of those was the Joe Guest ball being swung into Connor Hampson. But as I said, set-piece danger isn't there, but boy, do Oakley have plenty of ways to hurt you. Another person missing tonight, Stefan Valentini, but not a bad play to come in for Oakley, and Pierce Waring.
First start for Oakley for Pierce Waring since making the late move in the window from Green Gully. Of course, another two names on the team sheet today for Oakley who haven't seen much of is Noah Holmes and Asad Kasumovic. Noah Holmes coming from the Western United Academy side, and Asad Kasumovic coming from Adelaide United, where he made 8 appearances for their senior A-League men's side. Sinclair playing it up the line. Adis feeds it back to McGill. Guest making the runs. A good ball there from McGill, looking for the Englishman. Guest in behind, but the flag is up, and he's offside. Again, a warning shot fired there by Oakley.
You can already see the difference in the way that Altona are setting up at defence here, Nick, compared to last time out. We're almost playing a 4-2-4 when they're out of possession, with Mukacha just stepping up to almost provide a fourth attacking option, and then just the two in the midfield. So I think what they're trying to do is just to reduce the amount of width that Oakley are going to have and try and mitigate the threat that someone like Munabatis on this left-hand side can pose. He was devastating last week. It almost just wasn't fair. And it's another change that Altona have made as well in bringing in El Wali on that right-hand side to try and mitigate that threat.
Done, boys.
Bob against Standing on Thunder in a game that Altona were leading 2-0, but surrendered their advantage to fall to a 3-2 defeat at Paisley Park. A frustrating evening for the Magic on that occasion, but they've done well to right the ship since with that very impressive win over Green Gully. That man Bourgeois was central to everything that night. Scored one of their goals. In fact, he's scored in each of their last 3 games. So 3 goals this season for Bourgeois.
He's coming in from the right-hand side on this occasion. You can see there already the positive signs for Altona, despite going 1-0 down. You know, I mean, maybe it just shows how one-sided last time was, but you can already see a bit of a difference in the way that Altona are approaching this game.
Another notable change for Altona from that last meeting is Christian Rossi between the sticks. Hayden Brown on the bench today. Rossi also taking the captain's armband. Kubalay feeding it back to Boyce. No Jacob Eliopoulos as well for Oakley. He's on the bench for the Cannons. One of their main starters as ball isn't cleared away entirely there by Deletus. Adis, nice little flick. Adis has some space, hits it, and it's straight at Christian Rossi. He's there to gather. Don't want to leave Munibatis with any space on the edge of the area. So dangerous in the attacking third as that ball's fed over the top. Sahadovic does well. Well played there by Nil Sahadovic. Met by Sinclair, who does well to get back, and Miller clears it away. Sinclair just did well to play through that Altona setup, and a good challenge there from Stephen Lawless.
Get up you, get up you.
And a bit of words there between Lawless and McGill. That's the beauty of No Fans Today. We hear everything on this near side. I'm sure they can hear us as well.
It's a niche reference here for you, Nick Man. Stephen Lawless, she's saying, get up you. What animal is he referring to?
I don't know, Ed.
Be a female sheep. A ewe is a female sheep.
Just learn something new every day. Caught me off guard with that one, Ed. For a second, is this some sort of joke? But I think you're on the money there. Another player slotting in at left back today for Oakley, Kingsley Sinclair, who is primarily an attacker. But one thing we have seen throughout the Chris Taylor era at Oakley is he likes to increase the versatility of some of his players. One player in particular who used to slot in as a fullback at times was Wade Decker, who of course has departed the club, but we know for what he did in attack. But there were some games of Australian Cup run a couple of years ago where he was playing as a fullback. Today he's slotted in Kingsley Sinclair with Connor Hampson out of the team. Altona looking to break through the aforementioned Lawless. Wellsmore does well to win it back. Guest plays it short. McGill. Stephen Lawless didn't start the last meeting between the two teams, but was of course the NPL2, or now known as VPL1 Player of the Year last year. Fed towards Pierce Waring, and it's cleared away there by the Magic defence. Sinclair, as Jouak bearing down on him, and you can hear the instructions being barked there from the Altona bench to put the pressure on Sinclair, but he does well to feed it back to Feely. One in the air there as Lawless flicks it on. Stochevsky plays it centrally. And it's turned over. Kubalay looking to spring the counter. Guest feeds it out to the left to Munibatis. One-on-one with El Wallahi. Adis does well. Breaking down that left. Whips it into a good ball towards the back post, but Rossi collects. A good gather there from the Altona captain.
Going to have to keep an eye out for that matchup on the left-hand side, Nick. You can see the way that Altona are playing. Again, 4 forward here, and they're just looking to overrun Oakley with the numbers that they have done with Bourgeois here, who's going to play a ball inside and almost getting on the end of it there. You can see immediately the difference in Altona's play. The issue that they had last week, Nick, was just no numbers when they were able to break the play. Bourgeois was left alone, but you can see straight away he's got a lot of support going forward.
Well, he started centrally in that last meeting, and we saw him move from left to right to central. He was playing all over the place in that last meeting here at Jack Edwards Reserve, but now starting on the right wing. A good opportunity for Jouak to continue his really good form to this season. And one of the best strikers in the top tier, and certainly putting up his case. It was a former Altona Magic player that won the Golden Boot last year in Jonas Markovsky. Why can't it be Bourgeois if he gets on a little bit of a run? Of course, Harrison Sawyer leading the way with 5 at the moment. Kubalay plays it in towards Alex Savin. This ball's turned over. It's fed over the top looking for Jouak, and putting Sinclair under some pressure, feeds it back to Feely. He has to put that ball out for a throw-in, and again, the immediate instruction there from the Altona defence is put the pressure on Kingsley Sinclair, who's playing in an unfamiliar role as a left-back, so it seems like Altona have already identified that as a potential weak spot.
First one's us. Make sure. George, just come.
Awali up the line. Kubalay wins the header.
We fucking lost that week.
Kubalay keeps it alive. Makes sure of it. Plays it to Guest. Chests it down to McGill. A high boot there. Guest collects. Well played to win it back. Saad Mukashar feeds it out towards that left-hand side. It's a great ball looking for Jawad Razai. Cuts it back. Stochevsky has time to cross. And his cross in the end doesn't beat the first man in Boyce. The ball's out for a throw-in. Jawad Razai, a player who is coming into this game out off a brace against Green Gully. starting to find some form since making the move in the off-season. It's a little bit eerie being here at the moment, Ed, with no spectators. It's really quiet. You can hear every single instruction.
It's like the Etihad.
Whack. Ball's whipped in by Stojevski and cleared away by Boyce. Skanderovic plays the ball out there for a throw-in, and at the moment can just take a breather if you missed it. Alex Salmon with the opener. He's just in some ripping form at the moment, the Oakley marksman. Ball's turned over. Chance now for Altona to spring the trap as Miller gets across to deny Razai. A lot better from Altona, Ed. They're looking a lot more promising than they did the last time these two teams met.
It's a completely different team in my eyes, Nick, and it really has just come from a formational change, and maybe it's just a couple of different players coming in, but that formation difference is just changing so many things for them. I've said it before, but the issue last week when they played that long ball through to Bourgeois or Jawad Razai was that they just had no support. But the change has been immediate. You can see straight away the difference it's had on the game.
McGill. It's a good test for this new look Oakley defence today without Eliopoulos and without Hampson today. Might see Jacob Eliopoulos later in the game. Of course, he's on the bench. Kubalay goes to ground. No foul awarded. A risky pass there from Stojevski. Sahadvic brings under control. Holds off Cam McGill. Does well. McGill and Sahadvic still battle. Well played there from Sahadvic to come up with possession and fee Jawad Razai, who's come across now to this near side. Cuts inside, rides another challenge, feeds it out to the left. The overlapping run there from Stojevski. Keeps it alive. Luka Shah offers support. Plays it into the area, looking towards the back post, and eludes everyone. And the ball's out for a goal kick. And you hear Goran Lozanovsky barking instructions, get it in there, get it in there. But encouraging signs again there from the visitors.
Surprised to see the referee not coming back to award a yellow card there. Michael Mammis decided to keep the cards in the pocket early doors, but for me, Nick, man, that's an interesting decision.
Very interesting decision there from referee Michael Mammis. As mentioned before, Holmes, Eliopoulos and Kasurovic on the bench. They're joined today by backup goalkeeper Brendan White and Harry Parrott and Roy Gregory from the under-23s. Get their opportunity on the bench today. Harry Parrott was on the bench the last time these two teams met, but getting his opportunity again. Well, for Altona today, Nathan Liberto, Matias Gonzalez, Alexander Goose, as the ball's fed out to the right-hand side for Bourgeois. It's got the better here of Sinclair. Going to hold up the play. Jouak looking to go himself. Sinclair does well. Well defended there from the New Zealander. And a corner's awarded, so Bourgeois actually wins the battle in the end. And an opportunity here from a set piece for Altona Magic. Of course, as well on the bench, Darcy Anastovsky, Hayden Brown and Julian Rodriguez as well getting his opportunity in the side today. Wallace whips it in. Not a bad ball into the area, but a good collect from Nick Feely. Just takes a second there. It's still very balmy out here. It's around 30 degrees here in Oakley tonight. One of the last real hot days we'll get. There might be a few next weekend. I think the temperature does reach above 30, but this sort of conditions where saw a number of games either postponed or delayed due to the heat, pushed back to later kickoffs. There was only one game that actually kicked off at 3 p.m. this weekend down in VPL2 in Doveton.
Not envious of that.
No. And it was North Sunshine who came away with a 5-0 win on the road against Doveton in round one down there in the third tier. Of course, a number of games, namely last night, the Croatian derby between Melbourne Knights and Dandenong City and St Albans against Moreland City, that got pushed back to accommodate for this heat. Miller to Boyce. Oakley patient as they look to work their way up from the back. Waring, quite early, playing out wide today. We're used to seeing him playing through the middle, but you got both himself and Alex Salmon in there. You're going to try to find a way to make it work. McGill out to Adis. In some space. Whips it towards goal. And Rossi's there to collect. Alex Salmon just a second too late to that one, but again a warning shot fired there by the Cannons.
Is he perhaps the only weakness of having Mudabatis on that left-hand side? His strongest foot obviously is his left, Nick Man, but cutting in on his right is certainly not as strong as his left, so he's always motioning down the line. He will pretty much every single time get a cross in. Just depends how accurate that cross can be, but Altona would definitely be aware of that and always pushing Adis. Maybe inside, but again, his pace is usually just going to be a bit too much anyway.
Forward to Fabrizio, plays it over the top of Bourgeois, getting in behind Sinclair. Joie collects, waits for the support, and well defended again by Sinclair, who has done a very good job so far on Joie in the unfamiliar role at fullback. McGill, good feet.
Cameron McGill is just an absolute treat to watch.
A audible reaction there from Ed Gooden when he did a little bit of a quick feet.
Just a little body feint.
First as well there, Ben. It's good to see that we have the new lights installed and the scoreboard up and working again at Jack Edwards Reserve, because when these two teams met in that game that was abandoned, initially it was going to be Friday night football here at Jack Edwards Reserve, but it was moved to the Sunday as Sinclair's ball rolls through to Christian Rossi. But the lights are working again here at Jack Edwards Reserve, which is great to see, and of course the scoreboard is back up and working, so power restored here in Melbourne South East. Turned over there by Mukashar. Salmon feeds McGill, looking to turn his man, but well played by Deletus. Hacks it clear. Let's go up for that one, and Adis is there, and the ball's put out for a throw-in. Stephen Lawless shouting instructions there to his teammates, just telling, keep the ball on the deck, don't panic. It's one of the loudest plays out there at the moment, Ed. Lawless feeds it out to the left. Here is Stochevsky in a lot of space to get forward. Still breaking forward here, the left back. It's Sahadvic. Joak in some space. Just got the ball caught up in his feet for a second. Mukashar. Doing a lot from the right of us, Ed, in the Altona bench, but not too much from the Oakley bench. Very quiet there, as we know Chris Taylor, quite the pensive character. He was out for a goal kick, but very quiet, very chilled there on the Oakley bench. Chris Taylor just hasn't moved. He's forever just deep in thought, pensive. But you know exactly what Goran Lozanovsky's thinking. And his players know exactly what needs to be done.
Quite nice, actually. I mean, obviously we'd rather have fans here, but being able to hear kind of word for word what the coaches are saying.
A fascinating insight into hearing the instructions and everything. As always sent long there from the goal kick. Flicked on, looking for Waring, but getting across is El Wali, who does well. Just to deny Pierce Waring at the last minute. Mazai plays it back, and the boys sent forward. Boyce wins the header, but it's gone backwards, and the call to press there again from the Altona benches. Miller plays it back to Feely. And he can just take a few extra seconds there. Good Sahavic just he kicked a little bit of turf at Nick Feely there, as he maybe incidentally, but tried to put off Feely.
Let's see now, Nick Man, if Oakley, or if Altona rather, can maintain the energy that they had in the first 20 minutes. It is hot, so the energy levels are going to be draining very, very quickly.
Well, the other thing to remember, the very interesting point, is that both these teams did play Friday night, but Altona did play a full game. So it's a short turnaround in this heat. So it'll be fascinating to see how both teams manage the heat. McGilp for Guest. Rides the challenge. Great balance there from the Englishman. Plays that wide to Waring. Has Wellsmore on the overlap. Waring whips it. It's a good ball, but it's headed out for a corner there by Skanderovic. How do you manage the conditions, do you reckon? Ed, do you reckon it's sort of a situation of, you know, it gets to the 60th minute, you're looking to ring the changes, get some fresh legs on, considering how warm it is, and temperature's not going to drop too much in the second half?
I think you just got to send it, Nick, man. You just got to trust your engine and just go for it and just hope that you can run harder than the opposition, to be honest with you. I don't think there's much you can do.
Gut running.
Yeah.
Pedal to the metal sort of stuff.
Trust your ticker.
There you have it. Ed Gooden says, balls to the wall, go for it. Guest whips it in. It's a good ball in. It's not a clear. Comes out to Kubalay. In some space on the edge of the area. His shot's blocked. Sinclair sprays it out to the right-hand side. McGilp. Ball's whipped in by Guest. Out to the back post. Salmon brings under control. The flag is up. And an offside is called.
Well, there you go. That's how we're going to manage the heat, Nick, man.
So, after 23 odd minutes here at Jack Edwards Reserve, the first scheduled drinks breaks for both teams. Oakley Cannons in the lead, 1-0, thanks to an Alex Salmon goal. Ed, what are your thoughts been of the first half of the first half, I guess?
I really enjoyed it so far. I mean, Altona have looked like a completely different team to what we saw last week. The tactical changes have been really, really tidy. Bourgeois is looking as threatening as ever on the right-hand side. I actually wouldn't mind seeing maybe a switch of wings, just maybe dicing it up a little bit, putting Jarwood Rezai on the right, seeing if there can be a little bit of a change. The strength of Bourgeois is obviously his pace and his ability to get on the ball, but once on the ball, his touch does waver every now and then. So maybe they just need a little bit more composure to bring the rest of the team into those types of players.
He has looked dangerous, to say the least, but it's been a nice little matchup with him and Kingsley Sinclair, so looking forward to seeing how that one plays out as the game wears on.
If you are just joining us again, we are jumping into a drinks break. Everyone enjoying a couple refreshing beveraginos out of the esky, which Goran Lozanovsky is also using as his seat. Very Esteban Quintas-esque.
Marcelo Bielsa.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
And the beverages are heading straight back in.
So the ice flying. You can hear the ice like
Oh,
throw the...
there's nothing better, is there? I wouldn't mind hearing a little...
Well, like a fizzy sort of...
Yeah, a couple of soft drink, maybe a couple of ginger beers.
I'm not sure if they're allowed to have that during the game. I'm not sure it's the
I
smartest idea. I don't know if they're allowed, but I think it's the smartest idea to be drinking a soft drink during it.
I would love to see someone whip out a Fanta or a Sunkist at half-time. Just give them the boost that they need.
The thought of having a soft drink, them running it, doesn't fill me with much confidence.
Yeah, you know what it does for you, though? Is with a lot of happiness.
It does. Maybe one for after the game.
Speaking my language here, Nick, man.
Maybe more for like the Powerades or the Gatorades or something like that at halftime.
Yeah, or some unbranded sports drink. See, GWS in the footy, they only brought out orange Gatorade at the end.
Let's not talk about that as we move on here. As play gets back underway, Altona kicking things off as Wellsmore's header goes straight to Jawad Rezai, and Wellsmore gets across and does a good job there to nullify that attack. Luka Shah back to Stochevsky. Skanderovic. Lovely switch out to the right hand side for Bourgeois. As well go Kingsley Sinclair, and the ball is out for a throw in. Waring. Ball is hacked up into the air. Headed away by Boyce. Lawless. Waring. Well played there by El to win it back. Good feet there from the youngster. Plays it centrally for Joarc, but Sinclair does well to win it back. Lukashar turns it over. Here's Salmon as Joe Guest gut running alongside him, looking to feed through his fellow Englishman, and well defended by Jordan Delitas, getting across to deny that counter attack.
You might have seen a small tactical change here from Oakley Nick Mann. Munibatis is switching over to the right-hand side.
Pierce Waring out to the left.
I'd love to see Munibatis just cut it on the left-hand side and whip one far corner.
Here's Salmon. Salmon hits it. Not a bad effort from Alex Salmon. That's 2 for the Englishman, and Oakley have doubled their lead in some style. Quite literally out of nowhere. The ball just fell to him and he hit that perfectly on the volley. And Oakley take a 2-0 lead straight after the drinks break. And right now it's starting to feel as if the Cannons are just flexing here at Jack Edwards Reserve.
It's really the second chance of the game, and it's the second goal here for Oakley. And Christian Rossi in the Altona goal is not going to be stoked about the fact he was beaten near post. And you could hear the exclamations coming to his team saying, why are we not goal side? It's a bit tough, though, to be fair to the Altona defenders when Alex Salmon is turning like that and hitting the ball as well as he did. And Alex Salmon as well has probably had 3 or 4 touches, and they've ended in 2 goals. So it just kind of shows the quality of Oakley and Altona. Again, a lot of positive sides. They've looked really, really good. So we can see again they're going to attack down the left-hand side with the ball coming in.
Sahadovic got a head to it. Comes out to Fabrizio, loops it back in and sets a task for Sahadovic and Feely collect. So that's now 4 goals for Alex Salmon this year, Ed, but technically won't go down the stat sheet. He's got 6. Did score against both Dandenong Thunder and against Altona in the initial game as well, so he's made up for those goals that didn't count in less than 25 minutes here.
Feel for Emlyn Wellsmore.
Yeah.
That goal he scored.
Steph Valentini as well, who scored a rocket in that game. So 2 really nice goals, which unfortunately the highlight will always be there, but won't count in the stat sheet. Miller. Back to Boyce.
McGilp looking for Munibatis, finding Alex Salmon instead. Will come back out to Adis. Adis with the left foot inside to Joe Guess. Poor touch, but he does well to recover it. Is he able to swivel and have a shoot? Plays it back instead, and there's Pierce Waring on that far side. Rossi's able to get there before, though, and Altona are now going to look to push up and really apply the pressure. But Oakley can steady pretty easily. Just wonder, Nick Mann, if Altona are going to be able to kind of settle themselves a little bit here and not concede another one, because 2-0 down is still in it's not an unassailable lead. 3 probably would be a little bit too much as Pierce Waring gets on the ball on this left-hand side. He's going to stand up his opponent and cut in on the right, and what a hit and what a goal from Pierce Waring. We haven't seen much of him tonight. The switch of wings allows him to cut in on his favoured right foot and find the far post. And with a rattle, it heads in and Oakley take a commanding 3-0 lead.
That is brilliant from Pierce Waring. A first goal in Oakley colours, and that's his quality right there. Cuts inside, had that little bit of space, and you can't afford to give Pierce Waring even an inch. And that is such a good finish at the end of the day. And, I mean, we've spoken a lot about the firepower in this Oakley attack, Ed, over the duration. And when you can take someone like Stefan Valentini out of that team, replace it with someone like Pierce Waring, just goes to show the depth and the quality this team has. And welcome to the Cannons, Pierce Waring. That was an absolute cannon. So just like that 3-0 advantage has been restored for the Cannons. Altona, who had such a positive start to this game, just hit with a 1-2 punch out of nowhere from Oakley. It seems like the drinks break came at the worst possible time for Altona. Even though they were down a goal, they was firmly in it, and it just seems like maybe the momentum came out of their sails a little bit. And you just saw what Oakley were able to do. 2 moments of magic.
Really is deja vu now, Nick Mann. I think we're in literally the exact situation we were a couple of weeks ago. But Altona again, looking a lot more positive. Bourgeois unable to bring that under his control. Oakley going to move the ball forward again. Salmon. Waring and Oakley are just going to look to slow things down and reset.
Rosmore just assesses his options, and right now it's Oakley just in cruise control. Something they do so well at this venue. They very rarely lose at Jack Edwards Reserve, especially in the league. They are formidable here. Kubalay feeds it over the top, looking for Adis. Brings it under control, Adis cuts inside, he hits it, but it's always rising. The ball's out for a goal kick. In fact, I think if my stats are correct, might need to get this fact checked. I think the last three teams, I'm going to guess who those three teams are to have beaten Oakley here at Jack Edwards Reserve. A little bit of trivia for those watching at home as well.
Go for the obvious of Avondale. That happened?
Keep going.
Go Avondale in the NPL.
So we've got NPL Victoria and the Australia Cup. So, of course, they made the national stages in the last two. So, if my numbers are correct, I do believe two of those teams are A-League opposition. Stay with play for a second. Guest out to Adis. Brings down the control. Cuts inside. Feeds it back to Kubalay. Boyce.
One of them Bentley Greens.
Not last year. In fact, when Oakley played Avondale here last year, it was a 0-0 draw at the end of last season. So, the answer, in fact, only one team beat them at home last season, and that was South Melbourne. But the other two teams, MacArthur and Melbourne City.
Oh, wow.
Mooney Batis whips it in. It's a good ball looking for Salmon. Just over the bar. He's on a hat-trick, Alex Salmon. Just couldn't direct that one on target. But Oakley at the moment having their own way. But that just goes to show the quality of the team is that have beaten Oakley. They're the three that have come here and been able to beat them here, and no one else has been able to. There's been a few draws in between. Melbourne Knights got a draw here. Avondale got a draw here. No one but two A-League opposition. And one team that, of course, were in the grand final last year in South Melbourne, able to come here and beat Oakley. Goes to show just how hard it is to win at this venue.
Wonder what it is about Jack Edwards that makes it such a formidable ground.
Well, a bit of a theory that is posed by one, I think it was a Josh Parrish theory, that it almost resembles, like it just suits perfectly for the way they want to play in that counter-attacking style, and they can just springboard so quickly. 'Cause it's a bit of a smaller pitch.
I was going to say.
And it's very narrow, and it almost becomes like just a corridor for them. They can almost treat it as if it's, a basketball court in a way, and just spring in transition so quickly, play those balls quickly up the channels. And I mean, it's a good theory, because I guess the evidence is there to back it up. Just looking on that far side, I think that is Emlyn Wellsmore who's receiving treatment at the moment. So
Yes.
I do believe it's might force a substitution here for Oakley if Emlyn Wellsmore is not able to continue. Of course, it is very warm here tonight, so they did play, albeit just over a half, on Friday night against Dandenong Thunder. As just a reminder for those on the bench, Jacob Eliopoulos, Noah Holmes, Brendan White, Asad Kasumovic, Harry Parrott and Roy Gregory. Jacob Eliopoulos would be one of those first names that might be called upon, as Wellsmore getting back up to his feet, which is a good sign. He might be able to continue. If you've missed it, 2 goals from Alex Salmon and another absolute peach from Pierce Waring, man. Absolute cracking goal.
Really tight.
To give Oakley that 3-0 lead. And right now, you get a sense that they're looking very likely to continue their unbeaten start to the season. Technically, at the moment, only winning 2 draws So the two games that have been abandoned, they were leading against Altona and Dandy Thunder. But, of course, their last two games actually played, draws against Dandy City and Heidelberg. So they haven't won since that opening game of the season against Manningham, technically.
Strange feeling, considering how dominant they've been in the few games they've played.
What's strange when you look at the table and you see that, as much as they've been one of the best teams this year, they're not in that top two, in and around where South Melbourne and Hume City and Avondale and those sort of sides are. As Munibatis, that is brilliant, does well to win his own ball. He's looking to bear down that right. He goes to ground. A strong challenge from Skenderovic. Ball goes out for a goal kick. Michael Mamis unmoved. And the Oakley bench not happy with that one, but I don't know, Ed, that seems like there was certainly contact.
You could hear it really from here, and the Oakley coaching staff saying that there was maybe an elbow involved, maybe not a malicious elbow, but just an arm thrown across the front of Munibatis, and it looks like Oakley might win the press here. No, the referee putting a stop to that, but difficult one to call. You got to see Munibatis just beating one of the faster players on the pitch in Bourgeois with the ball. Shows just how fast he is.
Long ball looking for Fabrizio. It's a real task for him. And Feely is there to collect. Just wonder with Oakley's next game back here at home against Green Gully on Friday night, if that was a bit earlier, 3-0, things can change very quickly, not just in football, but NPL football for that. They might start to have a look ahead to Friday and maybe rest a few players as Adis pickpockets and fires and just past the back post for Munibatis. He did so well to win his own ball there off Nedim Skenderovic. Just came from nowhere, did well to win that ball, but just flushes his effort past the back post.
You could see that Skenderovic felt comfortable sitting under the ball, thinking that Munibatis wouldn't be able to duck in, but he did and got the shot off, and he was beaten all ends up at that far post.
Still looking for his first goal in Oakley colours, Munibatis. Which is quite remarkable.
That's a surprise.
Started this season. The goal scorers this year, Connor Hampson with one, Joe Guest and Stefan Valentini with one apiece as well. As mentioned, Oakley back at home on Friday night. This is actually the start of a 5-game homestand for the Cannons. So they're not going to be leaving Jack Edwards Reserve anytime soon. But as we know, when the home fixtures or the away fixtures are stacked on, later in the year, that means Oakley's going to have to get on the road and clock up the clock up the petrol mileage, because they're not going to be flying, but,
Well, the state government's going to be clocking up some nice little tolls, I would say.
I guess it depends where they're going. Those trips do include Green Gully, South Melbourne, Port Melbourne and Avondale, so...
Would you prefer the kind of the residency at home, or would you rather go home away?
Home away.
You reckon?
Or maybe a sprinkling of 2 or 3 home games in a row. I think 5 or 6. Maybe there's extenuating circumstances, but I think you don't want to be finishing too much on the road, especially when games become that all the more important. As the ball is whipped into the box and it's cleared away. You kind of want to have that balance, I think. Wallace as well. Miller to cross to intercept.
So I actually think, Nick, I'd rather have the home stretch and then the away stretch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get into the mindset of, like you don't... Say if Oakley had home, because they're so strong at home, they have their strength at home, but then away, then they're losing the week after, winning the next week. You're not able to build momentum, but if you have a home stretch of 5 games and then win all 5, you're going to go into your away stretch.
Yeah.
5 games unbeaten.
That's a good shout. That is a really good shout. I mean, we know that Oakley have been at home, but still got to make the most of it, still got to get those points on the board. Some of those games are going to be very difficult for Oakley, especially against the likes of South Melbourne, Port Melbourne and Avondale, who have started the season very strongly. Sinclair over the top for Guest. Instead pick it up here as Waring under pressure from Deletus. Deletus playing with fire there, and he gives away the corner. Well pressed there from Pierce Waring to force the corner.
Who does Joe Guest target here now, Nick Mann?
This is an interesting one because, I mean, no Connor Hampson, who is usually the target number one. So you think maybe a Pierce Waring's got a bit of height to him.
He's
maybe
a tall boy.
It's going as Guest whips it in, it goes past them all. I think it was actually looking for Emlyn Wellsmore as Joie clears it away, but it's just going to be coming straight back. It's an Oakley throw-in. So you do lose a lot from those set pieces without Connor Hampson there. They're not the tallest of teams, Oakley, compared to maybe a South Melbourne who have, just a whole array of giants in Sawyer, Marshall and Yankovic, and Ross Archibald for that matter as well. Wellsmore, Adis, back to Wellsmore, great 1-2. Going to get around his man, he's brought to ground, and a free kick is awarded. And an opportunity here for the Cannons on this far side to add another before the break. We've just played over 41 minutes.
Back post, yeah.
So we'll see what Oakley can do from this set piece. 3-0 ahead, cruising at the moment, but wanting to really just pile it on here. Guest whips it in, headed clear by Sehadvic. Comes back out to Boyce, who just hits it first time. A speculative effort, and that was always sailing over the bar. It's kind of hoping for the spectacular there, because it actually, when it first came off the boot, it looked like it was on a decent trajectory.
You do like to see it. There's a bit of a wind now picking up, though, Nick Mann, so not surprised that that shot went slightly awry. And it is a bit of a...
The breeze is actually going Altona's way.
Yes.
So I don't think it works all too well for Oakley.
It's also
for Altona, sorry.
It's also not quite the Fremantle Doctor. It is just kind of blowing warm air.
It's very warm. Guest. Ball is turned over. And across as Miller just sends it forward. So we're going to get about 4 minutes of added time, of course, to make up for the drinks break. Joie keeps it alive. Mukashar. Sahavic. The board is up. 4 minutes of added time here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Can Altona potentially pull one back from this play? Fabrizio. Oh, nice little nutmeg there from Daniel Fabrizio. Plays it back. Wally with the cross. Cleared away. It's going to come back to Stojevski. Under pressure from Adis. Keeps it alive. Plays it short to Jawad Razai, and he's turned it over. And now Oakley looking to break in transition. And this is where they're dangerous. Wellsmore looking for Guest. Flicks it out to that right-hand side for Adis, and it doesn't work out. Actually, it'll work out to be a throw-it in the end, but not exactly what Oakley were drawing up there to try and break in transition.
Just takes one ball for Oakley in that situation to just open Altona up.
Hard thing is, though, Ed, Altona need to chase this game. They do need to throw bodies forward, which means it does open things up a little bit for Oakley in transition as Adis's cross is chopped out by Skanderovic. Sahadvic tried to bring it down. The ball's out for a throw. Stephen Lawless not happy.
Just reminding his players that it's a team game.
Well, it's good to see that the reinforcement is still coming, because someone needs to start it on the pitch for Altona, because there's only so much Goran Lazanovsky and his coaching staff can do, but having a bit of an on-field captain, an on-field voice. I mean, Christian Rossi's holding the armband, but Stephen Lawless is almost the voice out there at the moment. And trying to kick-start a little bit of a fight back here for Altona if they can, and just find something. Kubalay.
Sneak one before half-time here, Nick Mann. It could be on for the second half.
You never know. Football is a funny game. We saw a few weeks ago, though, Melbourne Knights came back from 3 down to get a draw against Avondale, but no good. Oakley are here. Melbourne Knights were, of course, playing at home. And, of course, there was a red card in that game as well, which did help. But it is possible, not completely riding the magic off, but it's going to take something quite special. Waring. Sinclair. Looking for Guest. Put out there by Deletus. Sinclair looking to take it quickly. Over the top for Pierce Waring. It might actually work out here for Waring. And the ball goes out for a corner.
Jordan Deledy's been very impressive in defence for Altona.
He's fighting hard out there, considering the circumstances at the moment.
Let's see where Joe Guest goes now with this corner.
Guest whips it in. Headed clear by Joarc. This might be one of the final chances here for Oakley before the break to add a fourth. Guest whips it in towards the near post. Waring's waiting for it. It goes past everyone. And Alex Salmon has it in the net. But the flag is up. And his hat-trick is denied. Just came through in slow motion there to the back post to Alex Salmon. And again, Altona's defence just in 6s and 7s. But thankfully for them, the goal doesn't stand.
I think it might have been the extra touch from Pierce Waring. I think that played.
Was Salmon off? I'm not quite sure. Maybe they were both off.
Possibly.
Mukashar sends it over the top. One last chance here for Altona. Razai, bodies flying everywhere. Miller goes to ground. And it's going to be a free kick to Altona.
Very interesting kind of set of circumstances there, Nick Man, because it was really a game of dominoes.
Yeah, I was just about to say, did Miller get pushed into another and then it's kind of worked out well?
I think he did, yes. I think.
So it's almost an accidental free kick.
The referee, or I think Joe Guest just telling the linesman there, going, it was offside anyway, buddy.
So this will be one last chance before half-time for Altona, and it could be a little bit of a gift here, Ed, considering the circumstances around that free kick, but Altona won't be complaining. They still feel they should have gotten that free kick, and they've got their due rewards, but here's an opportunity for the Magic, potentially the final play of the half. Razai hits it with power right into Oliver Kubele. Will be coming back. No, it won't. Michael Mammis blows for half-time, and Oakley in the lead by 3-0. A double from Alex Salmon put the Cannons ahead before a lovely goal from Pierce Waring, his first in Oakley Cannons, giving them a 3-0 lead. Ed, thoughts on that first half here at Jack Edwards Reserve?
Really interesting first half. The first 5 to 10 minutes, Altona looked dangerous. Obviously, the goal from Alex Salmon early doors was a strange one. If you are just joining us, looked like the ball may have gone out of play, but the linesman with the best view kept his flag down, and everyone just stopped, and Salmon was able to slot it home. But outside of the goal, for the first little bit of the game, Altona looked dangerous. Different tactical approach to what they took last time, but Oakley, with a lot of quality, were able to come through and scoring a couple cracker goals through Salmon and Waring. Just snuffed the game out a little bit for Altona, but there is still 45 minutes of play left to come, and see what Altona can bring to Oakley in the second half.
Well, Ed, we'll leave it at that. We'll be back in around 15 minutes' time here at Jack Edwards Reserve with the score, Oakley Cannons 3, Altona Magic 0. Welcome back to Jack Edwards Reserve for this NPL Men's Victoria catch-up game between Oakley Cannons and Altona Magic. Oakley leading 3-0 at the break. And in response, Altona have made a triple substitution coming onto the field. Alexander Gust, Darcy Anastovsky, and Nathan Liberto. We'll just get word of who has been substituted. Does look like that one of those players is Nedim Skenderovic in defence, with John Stojcevski heading in centrally. So immediately under pressure is Liberto, and that's going to be a free kick. So it's going to Oakley's way, and they want to take it quickly. Michael Mavis just calling it back. Just confirm the other two players that have come off in just a moment. I think one of them as well, maybe Daniel Fabrizio, but see in just a second, because Oakley have an opportunity to extend their lead to 4. Free. Setting up the wall. Here to our left, Chris Taylor not happy with that one as guest. Floats it in, not a bad ball towards the back post, and Christian Rossi is there to claim. Nick Dabano and Ed Gooden taking you through the remainder of this game. Ed, an interesting first half, because I think as much as Oakley were dominant, it didn't probably tell the full tale of that first half as they look for a fourth there as Kublai looked to break. But for that first portion of the first half, even though Altona were a goal behind, they were very competitive, they were right in the game. But it seems like that drinks break sort of took the wind out of their sails as Sehadvic bearing down on Hamish Miller, and Nick Feely comes out and collects. But Ed, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, just as you said, Nick, man, it was an interesting tactical battle, kind of on both ends of the spectrum. Oakley playing their possession-based play and utilising their pace when they do find a break. But then Altona, as you can see, even in the formation now, they've got 4 up top, 2 in the midfield and 4 in defence. So what you're going to see is a lot of long balls through with a couple of extra players even from the midfield coming through and running with the front 4. So see if Altona can utilise that and get on top. They probably only had just maybe the one chance, and it was even maybe just a half chance, but possibly with the substitutions they can make something happen. That's a nice ball inside to Stephen Lawless. He's going to work that through, but no one really making the run forward. Perhaps the play just moving a bit too quick for the Oakley or the Altona setup.
So the other two players confirmed, Daniel Fabrizio and Saad Mukashar, taken off at the break. Oh, well played from Mooney Batis. Getting across was Liberto, did very well. And good feet there from Alexander Just. Of course, Oakley unchanged to start the second half. You do get a sense with their next game against Green Gully only in a matter of days. Maybe the changes will be rung in by Chris Taylor at some point. But one thing we do know about CT's side is that he likes to keep his side out in the field for as long as possible. Isn't the type to drag him off. He likes to put the game beyond doubt. And Pierce where he can line up. And fires that one well over the bar. And out for a goal kick. Ed, he's feeling himself after that goal in the first half.
If you are just joining us, Pierce Waring scored a fantastic goal. Obviously down the other end. Cutting in on his right, rattling against the upright to sneak it in. It didn't have, I can't say he was on the ball too much, but when he did get on it, he was very, very effective.
Well, ladies, the interesting thing is, and this will be a talking point in the weeks to come, is how does Chris Taylor find a way to work the Salmon-Waring partnership together? As this is a nice little bit of interplay here between Razai and Just. Just whips it in. It's not a bad ball. It will come all the way back to Jouac. Has some space. Cuts inside Jouac. Crosses it back into the area. And it's Hamilton Wellsmore who gets across.
It's just that one ball, Nick, man, that Altona are lacking. Stephen Lawless picking something up here. All the way onto the other side for Jouac. Stand up his opponent, get on that right-hand side, cut in on his left. Is he able to get a shot away? He can. Forces a save, and Jawad Rezai is there. to bring Altona back into the game. They were threatening early doors just as they did in the first couple minutes of the game. And Rezai picking up the scraps. Nick Feely was able to parry that away just barely, but not able to parry it away from Jawad Rezai, who was the first there.
Big time goal there for Rezai, Ed. Scored a double against Gully. He's in some good form at the moment. That's a massive goal. Suddenly Altona right back in the game, and they really needed that one to start the second half if they were going to have any chance of getting something out of this contest. And suddenly they've got a little bit of momentum at the moment.
Well, Alex Gust on the left-hand side is going to prove to be the man to connect, or the glue that's kind of bringing a few of these interplays together. It was with Rezai on the left that kind of started the whole play, and Oakley just caught napping a little bit.
Do apologise to Alex Gust.
Could be Just.
I said Just, but I think it's Gust. I think I've good authority. It's Gust. So I do apologise for that one to Alex. Guest into Waring, and we're just talking about how they find a way to play Waring and Salmon together, and these two might be asked to stay on the pitch that little bit longer because they're going to need another Oakley to really put this game beyond sight as Adis goes to ground and he wins the free kick against Stephen Lawless.
This is a Joe Guest special now here,
Yes.
I think, Nick.
Well, it's only going one place. But the fascinating thing, as we said, Ed, this is the first real case study of seeing Salmon and Waring in the same starting lineup together. And we thought maybe go two up top, but when you've got Guest there as well, it makes things quite congested in the middle, so finding a way to make that work. But we'll see what the aforementioned Guest can do from this free kick as he looks to restore Oakley's 3-goal advantage. 4 in the wall for Altona. Christian Rossi setting things up as Guest hits it towards goal. Not a bad effort. Just fizzes wide.
Really nice hit there by Joe Guest. Probably at a savable height for Rossi. A surplus of balls on the field now.
Multi-ball for a second there. It was funny just watching the
Multi-ball.
little bit of interaction there with Jawad Rezai and the fourth official, Terry Costandelos. Terry just saying to Jawad, just as he was about to, send that ball long with his drop punt, basically, don't do it, no, because he saw the ball go to the other side, but it was just too late. As here is Munibatis, and he wins the free kick. He's continuing to cause all sorts of problems. It doesn't matter who it is on the flanks. He's just everywhere at the moment.
I'm liking this duel with Alex Gust and Munibatis.
It's a fascinating battle.
Kind of bringing the heat. Gust with his technical ability and his fresh legs coming on at half-time.
So, the Cannons have an opportunity to regain that 3-goal lead from this set piece. Guest ball's whipped in. McGill goes for the diving header. Jouat clears. Boyce happy to play it all the way back to Hamish Miller.
Look how quick Altona get up. It probably shows their attitude coming into the second half. Oakley not able to get a second ball in because Altona just pressed their line so high straight away.
And it's good to see that they've been able to find a second win because it did certainly look like that it was going only one way as Guest skips around Liberto, does well, switches it out to the left-hand side.
Ooh.
Salmon brings it under control. Well played there from Salmon. Still going, Alex Salmon. And he wins a corner despite, looked like, for at least from our angle, that an Altona defender didn't touch the ball, but Michael Madness had the better view than us, Ed, and he's pointed to the corner there for Oakley.
Minimal protestations from the goalkeeper and Rossi.
So Joe Guest again, he's had a number of set pieces in the last few minutes, but we'll see what he can do from this one. Guest whips it into the near post. It's flicked towards goal from Waring. It's going to be another corner. Trying to force to defend here. Behind on the score sheet, but of course scoring that all-important goal to kickstart a potential comeback thanks to Jawad Rezai. 3 goals now this season for Rezai. Yes, whips it in towards the back post. It's headed clear. Comes out to Kubalai. Ambitious effort. Sinclair back out to Guest. Can whip it in, and it's blocked, and it's out for another corner. Altona just forced to defend their own goal here as batten down the hatches here for just a second. Guest. Some good ball in towards the back post. Stoichevski couldn't clear. Ball to pinballs around. Calls for a handball. Go ignored. Kubalay. Sinclair. Guest. Can put it back into the area. It's not a bad ball. And Rossi with a nice collect. He's looking to get play moving. Liberto. Centrally there to Sehadvic. They're looking to break. Tell you what, Ed, the subs for Altona, all three of them have made such a positive impact on this game. Maybe not so much Darcy Anastovsky, he hasn't been able to get on the ball, but in particular, Nathan Liberto and Alexander Gust have been everywhere in the early going in this second half.
Could see straight away there as well for Gust on the left-hand side. He had so much space and opens up the rest of the ground for his side. Ball coming in low and hard, and Nick Feely's able to get down to that one before Rezai was able to pounce and score a second.
He's feeling himself, Ed. He's really in some good form at the moment after coming in with a brace against Green Gully.
I'm liking Bourgeois on the right too.
Yeah.
It's the right of an attacking four for Altona.
Well, a mutual friend of ours, Ed, in Lockie Flanagan, is a big fan of what Bourgeois brings to the game, and with good reason. He's been talking him up for weeks, and what we've seen the early going of this NPL Victoria season is a real player. Boyce looking to send it over the top, but that will roll all the way through to Christian Rossi.
You can see as well with the setup that Altona have, it just forces Oakley to just be playing the long balls, and that's not the type of football that they want to be playing.
Lawless. Gost. Good ball. Here's a chance for Sehadvic. Rezai looking to play it short, turned over, but it will come back to Lawless, who was steaming through. Big challenge from Boyce. Michael Mamis unmoved. McGilp. Switching ball, but it doesn't have enough on it. El Wali with the interception. Here is Jouak. Brings it under control, but just got the ball caught up underneath him. Bit of a curse to the commentator there, Ed, as the ball goes out for a throw-in.
A lot of intensity from Altona. Shows that they're going to find success this season, Nick Mann, in NPL. You mentioned the game they had against Green Gully last week. They're definitely not a side that is kind of equivalent to the 3-0s that we've seen at halftime in both fixtures against Oakley. A much better team than that, especially when they're able to bring on so many players at halftime that show us the depth that the squad has.
Adis Wellsmore, great interplay on this right-hand side. Adis again, that is beautiful football. Munib Adis plays alongside him, cuts it back, looking for Salmon. Shots blocked. He's looking for that hat-trick, Alex Salmon. Kubalay. Waring does well to get around his man. Feed it back. Kubalay and Oakley forced to reset. Great tracking there from Altona to mitigate the risk and force Oakley into a hard reset. Just the work of Emlyn Wellsmore and Munib Ada said. I'll tell you what, they have got two unbelievable talents on this near side, two young players as well, and we've seen Anthony Pantazopoulos and Joe Knowles use their form at Oakley to springboard towards moves into the A-League, and both these players, that's a strong challenge from Wellsmore, and Gus goes to ground a little bit late, theatrically. Rooney Batis wasn't happy with that initial challenge.
Don't mind that from Alex Gusto. He's got some techers, and the way he took on Mudabatis there was vicious. Fair play to the referee, waving it on both occasions as well.
Well, he's a natural winger, so he's playing out of position at the moment. But when you're going for the game, Ed, you have to risk to lose for a bit more to maybe try get back into it. So I don't mind the move. Here is Kingsley Sinclair, another attacker playing in defence today, but just on the opposite side. Guest. Lawless. He's been everywhere in the second half, but Kubalay's there to mop up. Sinclair. Waring. Whips it in. Not a bad ball. Salmon's waiting for it. Comes out to Adis, and it's closed down by Stoichevski, and now Altona can break. They've got the space, and John Stoichevski has an absolute paddock ahead of him at the moment. Looking for his man in Anastovsky, but it's turned over, and Oakley looking to come back the other way.
It's extremely frustrating there for Altona. Sorry, Nick Mann, Mudabatis unable to get on the end of that one, but gee, you mentioned the paddock, but there was no one really running for, I mean, credit to Oakley for kind of their defensive setup, but You just wish there was a Gust on the left-hand side, or there was Jawad Razai as well, but it shows. Oakley possibly tiring here, Nick, man. Maybe it is time for CT to make a change, a begrudging change, as you mentioned before.
Well, he does have Jacob Aliopoulos, Noah Holmes, Asad Kasumovic as some of those big names on the bench that might be called upon at some point. Jouak under pressure there from Sinclair. Sinclair does well, holds his ground. Both players go to ground, and a free kick's awarded to Oakley. Ed, you're not happy with that one?
Let him play, Nick. Just want to see some tidy football, especially on that right-hand side.
So your word to Michael Mammis is put the whistle away.
Put it away and let the fellas kick about.
Let him go. So we're talking about the two players on our near side, Ed, in Emlyn Wellsmore and Mooney Bates. Two young players. Emlyn Wellsmore, of course, from New Zealand. And you want to be putting your best case forward if you are a New Zealander, because the Auckland A-League team coming in next season, of course, they're heavily recruiting for next year as Alex Salmon getting in behind. Opportunity there for Salmon. He gets a shot away, and it's blocked by Rossi. And it's out for a corner. But Emlyn Wellsmore, I'm not saying that, you know, that there's... I don't know, maybe he does have the aspiration.
Sources, Nick, man.
No, there's no sources. There's no... I'm just speculating. I'm just saying, you know, New Zealander trying to make the connections there. Maybe Wellington put a call into him. Who knows? Maybe another A-League team just in general. And, of course, we know Mooney Bates has spent time both the Melbourne City and Newcastle Jets Academy. His guest whipped in. Waring got a head to it.
Do we know what the new New Zealand team is going to be called?
Well, the word is, according to their owner, Bill Foley, and according to a piece that came out in the press over in New Zealand, that they're going to call themselves the Black Knights.
Oh, really?
So the Auckland Black Knights is what ideally he wants to call them. Because apparently the Black Knights were his alma mater back in college back in the day.
Interesting choice. I guess it, you know,
obviously mixed reception to that choice so far.
Yeah, obviously there's the New Zealand Knights,
yeah,
which we saw previously, but
well, a lot of his free kicks awarded there to Oakley, a late challenge from Anastovsky on Boyce, but a lot of the Bill Foley run teams actually have a Knights moniker to it.
Las Vegas,
the Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL in ice hockey.
I mean, it makes sense. I just think it's got a bit of a, hasn't got a kind of rolls off the tongue ring to it straight away, does it? The Auckland Black Knights. It's actually not bad.
Okay. I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50.
What would you call it then?
I haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest.
Come on, mate.
But basically, like, there are a few... If you are an Oakley young player that does have those ambitions to go pro, I mean, two of their former teammates in Joe Knowles and Anthony Pantazopoulos are two players that use their form in the Australia Cup, particularly to springboard onto bigger things. We saw Pantazopoulos is playing for Western Sydney Wanderers. Joe Knowles went to Brisbane Roar and off to India, and now he's back playing in Western Australia NPL this season. There are a lot of good young players in this Oakley team that I think, honestly, A-League teams should be looking at. Especially as we expand into a national second division, hopefully next year as well. Kubalay. Lovely ball looking for Waring, but the ball is out for a throw-in. Liberto. Gust under pressure. Ball is turned over. Kubalay in some space on the edge of the box. Plays it out wide, looking for Adis. He goes to ground. Referee waves play on. El Wahali looking to break back the other way. Adis bearing down, finds Anastovsky. He hits it. And that's well over the bar there from Darcy Anastovsky. Don't mind the effort, but it was just always rising from the former Melbourne Victory youth player.
Really nice run there by Wali, who's got Munabatis bearing down, but he's able to outrun him and get a nice ball inside. But that's what it's going to take for Altona. I think something special here, Nick, man. I think they're going to have to pull two rabbits out of the hat.
Yes, and it does look like they're going to make a fourth substitution of the game, and I think it's going to be Matias Gonzalez who's going to be brought on. Get word of who's coming off in just a second. She definitely will be Matias Gonzalez, the number 2 for Altona. Boyce heads it back to Feely. Fun fact about Darcy Anastovsky, Ed.
Yes.
He's a part-time DJ.
Is he?
Yes. There are a few players in the NPL system who dabble in the music scene. Of course, we used to have Marquez Walters, who now plays in NPL Queensland. Used to play for Preston Lions. He made a rap about Preston Lions back in the, I think it was during lockdown.
Wow.
Still relied. Ball into the area there from Sinclair, but still informed by Josh Parrish that it is an absolute banger. I've listened to it. Actually is a very good tune from Marquez Walters.
Unsurprising. Talented people make talented things.
Exactly, and Darcy does a great job as well.
If anyone here is listening, I know the comments are off on YouTube, so you can't drop your fun facts about NPL players, but feel free to engage in the NPL Instagram and let us know. What are some hidden talents of some of the NPL players? Alex Gust looks like he'd be a cracking tennis player.
Is it the haircut?
Yeah, it's the Yannick Sinner vibes.
Yeah, very Yannick Sinner vibe. Ball over the top as Boyce gets across and hooks it clear.
Uh-oh.
Rooney Batis looking to put Rossi under some pressure.
Yannick Sinner himself was a multi-talented athlete. He was well, I don't know if he was a world champion, but he's an extremely good downhill skier. Jawad Razai is going to move forward.
Anastovsky just pulls his effort wide, and that's the second time Anastovsky's had a good look on the edge of the box. And he's just dragged his effort. And that was another good opportunity there for the Magic. And they're going to make a substitution here. So Jordan Delitis off, Matias Gonzalez coming on. So another attacking change here from Altona Magic. Both their starting centre-backs coming on, now off the pitch, and Jordan Delitis and Nadim Skanderovic. And they're going for this one.
One of the better moustaches in the team, Jordan Delitis, coming off. He's had a really good game. Obviously didn't play in the last fixture that we had here, Nick Man, but he's slotted in really nicely.
Yeah. Matias Gonzalez, of course, started that last game at right back, but has been replaced by Mohamed El Louai in the team for today. Stochevsky. Kubalai under some pressure there from Sehadvic. McGilp has been, I'll tell you what, Ed, he's been
so good.
One of the most impressive players, I think, today, but also this season. I think second season now at Oakley Cannons. You can see why he was on the books of not only just Melbourne Victory, but Birmingham City.
Wow.
Well. Yeah, he spent some time in Birmingham.
Rocking the number 8 as well. Very famed number here at Oakley, Nick Man.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And here is Oli Kubalai looking to get forward as the ball trickles out, but the flag was up anyway for offside. But
gee, Jawad Razai is absolutely keen to send some balls in after they go out. He's eyeing it up like he is in the Ralph Lauren at the tennis. He is ready to go.
As we get our second drinks breaks of the game, and obviously our one and only of this second half, with Oakley leading 3-1. Two goals from Alex Salmon and a goal from Pierce Waring had the Cannons up 3-0, but a goal from Jawad Razai got the Magic back in the game, set things up for a big final 20-odd minutes as we get a bit of a hello there, I think, from the truck drivers just coming by.
Hello.
I don't think they can hear you, mate. But I thought for a second it was the train. That's on the opposite side.
Yeah, I was going to
of the
say.
station. I'm like, am I imagining things at the moment?
Real
But
train
anyway,
vibes.
just over 20 minutes remaining, Ed.
Yep.
It's a big mountain still to climb for Altona, but they have shown signs. What are your thoughts? Can they still get something from this game, or are Oakley looking odds on to come away with all 3 points?
I genuinely have faith in Altona to pull something out here, Nick Man. The Oakley Cannons haven't shown a huge heap in the second half, and they are managing the game. They are trying to consolidate that 3-0 lead, but Altona have just been pushing so hard, and I think it's almost a guarantee they'll get at least one more. I think there'll be 2 more goals in this game. Altona will get at least one.
Well, the extra lighting there in the grandstand have just come on, and it looks like they bug zappers as well. They're just sort of hanging off under the...
Are they?
Looks like, at least from my point of view, or maybe it's just lights and just a little bit of extra...
I can't really tell.
Manufacturing.
Lights do a great job.
Yeah.
Jack Edwards.
Maybe I'm just wrong. I think I probably am. Anyways, play gets back underway here. We saw at the end of the last drinks break, Ed, that Oakley really put the foot down, were able to score 2 and stem all the momentum that Altona had at the start of the game. It'll be a fascinating watch to see how Altona, I guess, come out of this, because they were in a spot of bother last time when Oakley went bang-bang in a matter of minutes. And here is Adis. They want to put this game beyond doubt.
Looks like they are just managing the game here, Oakley, slowing things down. You can see Altona were frustrated there where Gonzalez played it back to Rossi instead of looking forwards.
Adis will keep that one alive. Not entirely for a goal kick. Tell you what, Ed, I mean, it has been a bit of a conversation point in the early going of the season whether Munib Adis is the fastest player in NPL Men's Victoria, and I think he has a very good case.
I do think so. I wonder how it works, though, based on what type of distance it is.
Do you think that we need a grand final sprint? All over the top looking for Jawad Razai up against Emblem Wellsmore. Do we maybe need the sprint, Ed? Do we need to have something
100%.
in the final day?
40-yard dash, I don't think there's anyone quicker.
Yeah. It seems like he gets quicker as, like, I feel like over 100 metres he would win.
He's like a train.
Because it seems like, you know, there's times where he's given the opponent a few metres head start and he just comes out of nowhere and he's caught up and he's sped right ahead. Stachevsky plays all the way back and put Rossi under some pressure.
Oh.
And he just got that one out from underneath him to Gonzalez. Now here's Bourgeois. He's busy early, a bit quiet in his second half, looking to use his own speed to get him behind, and Miller getting across and clearing that one away. Of course, Hamish Miller, the brother of Matt Miller, who plays for MacArthur FC. Here's Guest looking to break forward, and it's cleared away. Jawad Razai under some pressure there from Wellsmore. Guest looking to win it back. He goes to ground, and that's going to be a free kick to Oakley.
Now, this is an interesting free kick position here, Nick. Similar distance to the one where we saw Joe Guess have a pop, but it's maybe actually a little bit further out, but it's just smack bang central, so tough to find the angle. I wonder
if maybe he's just going to go for the pole driver. Just try and go with power on this one instead of going for the old-fashioned curler if he's on a bit more of an angle.
Go for the Lewis dunk.
Yes.
Daniel Agger.
Yeah, the Daniel Agger.
Yeah.
Joe Guest standing over this one. Instead, he actually just plays it backwards to Kingsley Sinclair. So looks like a bit of a set play, maybe straight from the training field for Oakley. Or maybe not, because Altona have done well to mitigate any sort of set play. So Oakley's going to have to go the long way through Boyce. Just calm and happy in possession, but Pierce Waring saying, get a move on, fellas. Let's start moving this ball a little bit quicker.
I think that's the attitude Oakley need to have. I don't think they can sit back and just soak up the Altona counterattacks. Especially when they lose the ball like that.
Well, here they go, Altona. They got numbers getting forward. Juark cuts it back. Sahadvic gets the ball. He gets a shot away. It's deflected. Feely gets a hand to it. Lawless looks to get there, but it's cleared away. And now Wellsmore looking to force the counter-attack here for Oakley. Plays it centrally, looking for Guest. Turned over by Gonzalez. Ball's headed on by Razai, but he's offside. And you can just see the frustration there from the Oakley players. Another warning shot fired. But Nut Sahadvic, bit of an awkward shot. It took a massive deflection, and Nick Feely almost caught off guard there.
Great save by Nick Feely in the end. Just stuck out the big bear paw and swatted it away. But, gee, there are angles now for Altona. And Oakley, I'm scared that they're just sitting back and sitting comfortably. If Altona get a goal in the next 5 minutes, the game is really on, Nick Mann.
Well, not to use an overused cliche, Ed, but 2 goals is the most dangerous lead in football. And we have seen it, albeit in very different circumstances a couple of weeks ago. A few teams that were leading 2-0 and surrendered their advantages in
ball.
Both Manningham and Altona Magic for that matter, but just couldn't keep that one alive. But you just wonder if maybe it is time for a substitution. It is still very warm out here. Maybe it is time to just freshen things up, get a few extra bodies on there, because it seems like the fresh legs of Altona is really helping them at the moment, having 4 players that they've brought on to Oakley's 0. McGilp and Sahadvic collide, and it's a free kick awarded by Michael Mammis, unmoved in the middle of the park, just giving Nudsahavic the look and saying, not this time, mate.
Great ball out to Mudabatis, who's one-on-one here. He's going to be able to bring it down, but really tidy work. And Altona are going to look to move the ball quickly here, as they have done so well in this second half. That's a nice ball inside. Jawad Rezai is an option on the left-hand side. He's going to have to cut back inside, but the linesman flag is up, and verbal disdain from the crowd.
Yeah, a lot of frustration. Well, the Altona officials that are here, Edman, of course.
Yes.
And, of course, the Altona bench to our right as well. Not very happy with that one. But again, in transition, Altona look dangerous. And it is the fascinating thing to watch is as much as they are playing that 4-2-4, it seems like Sehadvic is sort of coming in as that extra option in the middle of the park and playing as sort of that link man between the midfield two of Lawless and Liberto with the front three.
Mm.
And I think it's working really well because I just get this sense that there's a bit of fatigue in those Oakley players and maybe they just need to freshen things up a little bit.
They need something because Altona have the gusto and they've got a bit of ticker and a bit of pace about him, ironically with those substitutes coming in. But you can see even Altona in this situation where they're pressed back, they can make something happen, and these contests here, they've done well to win them, as they have done there, and now they can just reset and push forward. The Oakley midfield is really just being mitigated by that straight ball, and Bourgeois on the end of one isn't able to get across over the line, but thought he was going to win a corner there, but unfortunately Oakley are able to control that. Unfortunately, if you're an Altona fan, of course, Nick Man.
Yes, I was going to remind you there, Ed. Kingsley Sinclair doing a really good job as here is Razai. Well played there from Hamish Miller, has also put in a really good shift today in the heart of the fence. Adis turns it over. Again, Altona looking to break. Kubalai puts his body in the way to cause the block. It just seems like Altona look a little bit more comfortable at the moment, and again, to overuse a bit of a commentary cliche, Ed, you just get the sense that if Altona can get one, things could turn in a little bit of a...
One brings two.
Yes. Suddenly, it's really on going into the last few minutes.
Lovely.
Anastovsky goes to ground, but it's an offside against Darcy Anastovsky, and Cam McGilp also uses this moment to go to ground as well. He's put in a big shift.
I think he might just be motioning just to Chris Taylor there. Maybe take me off CT.
Well, it looks like that maybe it might be time for someone like Noah Holmes, who is a midfielder by trade, that might be looked at, but Darcy Anastovsky holding his foot.
Looks like maybe his Achilles. Don't want to speculate, but that is the area of the foot, potentially.
We hope that Darcy's all good, as both him and Cam McGilp receiving a little bit of treatment. McGilp just getting his fluids up, and Anastovsky just getting that ankle checked up. And hopefully he's all good, because it seemed like a bit of an innocuous fall, but maybe just a bit of a late turn, a bit of a roll of the ankle or something, and maybe the way that he just landed with his body weight and everything, so maybe...
Well done unpacking the anatomy of a fall there, Nick Man.
Well, I haven't looked at a replay just yet, Ed, so I'm throwing up every possibility right there, but it does look like that maybe Altona will be forced into another change. They do have one left in Julian Rodriguez, who they can call upon if Darcy Anastovsky's not good. And it does look like that we're going to see Oakley make a double substitution in Noah Holmes and Asad Kasumovic. Kasumovic, of course, coming across from Adelaide United. We made 8 appearances, part of a very talented pipeline there in the city of Churches. And Noah Holmes, player who at the start of last A-League season, was in and around the Western United senior team. He was in and around their Australia Cup squad in and around that time, but didn't make his senior debut, but very highly rated from what I understand. So looking forward to seeing what Noah Holmes can do in NPL Victoria this season. Was a key part of that team that won promotion to VPL 1 or NPL 2 2 years ago as well.
Just wonder for Altona, Nick, if that stoppage is... hope it doesn't take the momentum away from how quickly they were pushing forward and how unsettled Oakley really looked.
Well, Anastovsky is all good to continue, which is good news for Altona, and as is Cam McGilp. As we tick down towards the final 10 minutes of this game, Oakley leading 3-1. We're going to put this game beyond doubt, but Altona not going down without a fight. McGilp turns it over, Lawless. Now Sehadvic. Razai looking to play it through. Boyce just hoofs it away, straight to safety. And he came back through Alexander Gust. Seeing Oakley just getting ready to make that change in just a couple of moments. Gust under pressure there from Guest. Well played from the Englishman to put him under some pressure. Wellsmore, McGilp, playing back to Wearing. Centrally again to McGilp. Guest, Kubalai, and here they go again. Lovely bit of footwork there from the Cannons. It's turned over. Lawless has put in a tireless shift in the middle of the park. Stochevsky. turns it over. McGilp looking to play it through, but Gus getting back, and he's been very good since coming on. Gonzalez.
Tenacious Alex Gus, and Stephen Lawless, that's exactly what he's been calling for from his Altona side as they rush forward. Sorry, Nick Man.
All good. Elwali getting forward. Out wide for Joaquin, and Miller does well to get across and cause the turnover. Sinclair looking to get forward. He's brought to ground, and that's a free kick there for Oakley. And now they'll get a chance to make this double substitution. Yes, you're right. I mean, the subs for Altona, all of them have just been very impressive. In particular, the likes of Alexander Gust and Nathan Liberto, who have really helped add a little bit of energy out there for Altona, exactly what they've needed.
Interesting sock game on the substitutions here, Nick. It's not something you see every day.
It's an interesting blend there of boot to sock.
If the cameraman can get a shot of the socks, that would be... there we go. Looks like these actually got 2 socks on there, Assad.
Well done, Director Ed Gooden. So it does look like the 2 Oakley players are down at the moment, potentially needing some treatment. It's Cam McGilp again. Just trying to work out who's down on that far side. I think it's Kingsley Sinclair.
Looks like McGilp.
Yep, it is going to be McGilp after the second time he's gone to ground. Maybe a bit of cramp. It's still very warm out here today, Ed.
Need the pickle juice.
See now, it is going to be Cameron McGilp. He's getting ready to come off here for the Cannons. Just wait, stoppage. And it's also going to be Mooney Batis. His day comes to an end. A very, very impressive shift again from Mooney Batis. And Cam McGilp replaced by Noah Holmes. So Noah Holmes on for his Oakley Cannons debut. And Asad Kasumovic on the right-hand side here. You know what the fun thing is, Ed? We're at number 47. Now, tell me what Asad Kasumovic's initials are.
Oh, God.
I'll let those at home work that out as well.
That's nice. That's got to be on purpose. Joe Guest. Sorry, Nick.
That's all right. All good, mate. But we're in unison at the moment. Here is Kasumovic. It's, is it Abdullah Kamara? I think it was, from used to play for Fulham, who made that famous with the AK-47 number.
Well, I mean, he didn't make it famous.
But he sort of...
brought it to the footballing sphere.
I guess put eyeballs on it. And I think anyone who had initials AK after that, there was Lars Anton Conander, who goes by Anton Conander, who played for Melbourne Knights last year, who also had number 47.
It's awesome.
And at Werribee City.
Good pickup.
Eagle-eyed, mate. Eagle-eyed.
I think Oakley, Nick, have done well to... They've pretty much wasted a good 5-6... Well, maybe not wasted, but they've managed the game for a good 5-6 minutes. So, you know, we were looking at 76 minutes, now we're looking at 83. It's now looking a far cry for Altona unless they sneak something here.
Wellsmore heads it away. Oh, lovely touch there from Salmon. Here's Noah Holmes. Feeds it out to Wellsmore, who has the speed to get forward, and he has the support in Kasumovic, and well played by Rezai to get across. So Kasumovic had, I mean, when you look at the players he's played alongside at Adelaide, and a part of a very, very successful pipeline of players, which includes the likes of Nestor Irankunda and Bernardo Oliveira and so many more, as Rezai looking to get forward. He cuts through the middle and feeds it out to Bourgeois, and getting across is Kingsley Sinclair, who, for a player who doesn't usually play at fullback, Ed, he has just been brilliant today. As that's turned over, here's Salmon. He's on a hat-trick. He has guests alongside him. Same with Waring. He goes to Waring, brings under control. Is corralled by Gonzalez.
Great work by Gonzalez there.
Cuts it back to Kubalai. Cuts inside Oli Kubalai. Shoots. It's blocked. Now Waring. He hits it first time. It's out for a goal kick. A very speculative effort there.
Nice.
The Grand Marshal getting there before Joao Rezai could poof one across there, Ed. Words of encouragement still coming from the Altona bench. They still believe they need a goal and fast to try and set up a grandstand finish. Sahadvic. Lawless. Beautiful play there from Lawless. Razai back out wide to Emlyn Wellsmore. He's happy to let that one roll out there for a throw-in. I think Oakley happy just to take as many seconds as they can. It's still 31 degrees out here at the moment, Ed.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's 8:45 at the moment, but according to the weather app on Apple, it's still 31 degrees. Unfortunately, don't have a thermometer on me and can't so just hold it up. It's Brody boys. Wellsmore, Holmes, under pressure there from Razai. Holmes does well. Strong challenge there from Sahadvic. Lovely pass. Now call for the switch. Gonzalez sets a task for Jouark. Keeps it alive. Good play there from Bull Jouark. Sinclair keeps fighting, but Jouark comes up with it. Skips through two players. Well played from Jouark. Here's an opportunity for Anastovsky. Shots blocked. Lawless with the effort. And it's blocked. Liberto with an effort, and he brings down Noah Holmes. Tried to get the shot away, but instead caught the Oakley player. And it will be a final substitution here for Altona Magic. It will be Julian Rodriguez coming on here for Altona Magic.
That was the moment there for Bourgeois. That's what Lockie Flanagan has been talking about for months and months. And he's been good this game. He's going to head off.
Yeah.
Probably fair enough. He's put in a really good stint. Pretty much anything he does is at full speed. So
he's had a really intense battle with Kingsley Sinclair all game. For someone who hasn't played a lot of football at left back, he certainly held his own. It's been a nice battle on that far side, but Bourgeois' evening comes to an end. Wasn't able to add to his 3 goals in Altona colours this season, but he's certainly one of the players to watch this year. Looking forward to seeing how his season progresses. Gonzalez under pressure there from Alex Salmon. Salmon keeps it alive. Good touch from Waring. Just stopped the ball dead. Holmes. Waring turned over. Sardvic getting back. Altona looking to spring the trap back the other way. Stochevsky feeds it out wide to Gust in some space. Plays it up the line for Sahadvic. Boyce collects. Nice little bit of a battle there, and Boyce goes to ground, and a free kick's awarded there to Oakley. Ed. Well, I think Goran Lozanovsky and the Altona players are saying it for you, Ed. Or at least saying what they think. Maybe not saying exactly what you think, but, Just
I'm an unbiased spectator here, Nick, man.
I know.
I'm just here to have fun with my friends.
Well, Goran Lozanovsky basically said it felt it was soft and told Michael Mammis to keep play going. We've seen a few of those throughout the game. I think there was enough contact to call the free kick, but nonetheless, we do continue. Kubalay down to Holmes. Stephen Lawless still shouting. Almost like a third commentator out there. As a strong challenge between Anastovsky and Boyce. Sahadvic. Here's Rodriguez. His first touch since coming on. An opportunity here for the youngster. Feeds it into the back post. Anastovsky's waiting for it. And he just puts it wide. It was set up perfectly for the substitute. And he just put it wide there.
Gee, the technique to even get that anywhere near the goal is really outstanding. Actually, I think it even was like a side-footed effort there. That was very nice.
It was a great ball from Julian Rodriguez. With his first touch with a lovely floater ball over the top. And in the end, it just went wide there from Darcy Anastovsky, who's had a couple chances since coming on, but yet to add to his first goal. As calls for an offside goal unrewarded. And Gost is there to clear. The assistant referee on our near side, Ed, just unmoved. Coming towards the final few minutes here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Of course, Oakley back here on Friday night against Green Gully. Altona, though, doesn't get much easier. South Melbourne away at Lakeside Stadium. Team who is still undefeated to start the season. Dropped their first points of the season against Heidelberg in a 1-1 draw on Friday night. But here is Kasimovic getting forward. Wellsmore cuts around his man. Well played there for Emman Wellsmore. Whips it in. It's going to come out to Kubalay. Sets himself up and puts the ball over the bar.
A couple of those. Oh. Bless. See, security marshal there. Just hoofing the ball into the fourth official's rear end, but unfazed.
5 minutes of added time here. Oh boy.
If the security guards are doing that, God help us.
Well, we've seen a few moments with the drop punts today with Joe Razai being in a rush to get play moving. It's a strong challenge there from Kubalay, but the Grand Marshal on that occasion was in a bit of a rush, and Michael Mammoth just clearing things and awards the yellow card to Oliver Kubalay.
The first yellow card.
Yes. And credit to the fourth official, Terry Costa-Dallas, because he was unmoved. Unmoved. Just like it never happened.
It's almost like he apologised to the security guard.
Yeah. It was just
unreal.
Anyways, Altona looking to set up a grandstand finish as the ball's floated in. Feely gets a fist to it. Liberto brings it to ground. Lays it back, and it's Kasimovic. Wally switching ball out towards Liberto, but a bit too much on it. And it's out for a throw-in. So Oakley just counting down the seconds now. Their next 4 games all here. Green Gully, South Melbourne. Huge game.
Wow. When is that?
That is the following week.
What day?
It'll be a Friday night. I don't know the exact dates. I'm not good with my dates, man. But as the ball goes out there for a throw-in there for Oakley. And then, of course, Port Melbourne and then Avondale. Huge games.
Jeez.
Big month coming up for Oakley.
All at home.
All at home. And then, of course, for Altona, been informed. They actually play South Melbourne at Paisley Park on Saturday.
You've been informed?
Yes, by my notes.
Oh.
I did get it wrong. They're not playing at Lakeside Stadium. In fact, they're back at home before they head on the road again for back-to-back road games against Port Melbourne and Avondale. And then St Albans at home as well, which could be a huge game considering where Altona are at in the table. Lawless playing it forward. This game quite physical in the last few minutes as Pierce Waring getting forward down that left-hand side. He cuts inside Waring, and strong challenge there from El Wali, who's had a very, very impressive showing. Rodriguez looking to get forward. Sinclair does well. Nice little battle there, and a free kick's awarded, going in the way of Altona. Sinclair bringing him to ground. So still the words of encouragement come from the Altona bench. They do believe if they can get one here. Maybe just a bit of a nervous finish for the Oakley players. So we'll see what Altona can do from this free kick as the ball is floated in. It's not a bad ball, but maybe a bit too much on it. Razai brings it down and goes out for a throw-in to Altona. Razai looking to get play moving quickly. Gust whips it in. Not a bad ball.
Great ball.
Two players unmarked at the back stick, and it's into the back of the net, but it's offside. I think it was Darcy Anastovsky, who has been so close on a few occasions, and that time, great control and a great volley, but a few inches offside.
The two players who we've been raving about this in this second half, Gustu, Anastovsky, he brought it down on his chest so well.
They were lining up at the back post there.
Just leathered it.
Yeah. It's a great finish from Anastovsky.
Well, as this game winds down here, Nick Mann, you have a 3-2-1 in mind?
Give me a couple more minutes. I'll give it to you after the game, but I think sort of spitball a few players. I think can't really go past Alex Salmon. Joe Guest has been brilliant as well from an Oakley persuasion. Cam McGilp. Mooney Batis as well. I think even Kingsley Sinclair probably been the best of the best. Sahadvic feeds it out to the right-hand side. Rodriguez whips it in. Not a bad ball. Anastovsky got his head to it again, but he just puts it wide. from an Altona persuasion as Nick Feely just kicks the ball away after Anastovsky leathers it back at Feely, and then he's happy to just kill a few more seconds. But I think from an Altona persuasion, there's been a few very impressive players. In particular, I think the two substitutes, Alexander Gust and Nathan Liberto, and Stephen Lawless as well. I think they're the three that really stood out.
I think I'm the same there, Nick, man. I think it's been a tricky night for Altona. I mean, especially the way they started with that unfortunate situation with the ball going out, but then not going out, and, you know,
Yeah.
kind of put them on the back foot straight away. But again, they put in a really good showing. So if you're an Altona fan and you're watching this, keep your head up.
Well, it's going to be a fascinating contest at home against South Melbourne. Of course, Altona at home, they've been competitive. A 1-0 loss against Heidelberg and a 3-2 loss against Andy Thunder. As this game comes to an end, Oakley claim all 3 points. A 3-1 win for them. And a much-needed win for the Cannons after a few interrupted games. Of course, a couple draws in succession. They do come away with a 3-1 win. 2 goals from Alex Salmon and another from Pierce Waring gave Oakley a 3-0 lead at the break. Altona did pull one back through Jawad Razai to try set up a bit of a tantalising finish, which they did to their credit. But in the end, Oakley, too strong, coming away with their second win of the season. Still undefeated to start 2024, but a win in this catch-up game on a balmy Monday night at Gooden.
Agree, Nick, man. Fantastic showing for Oakley. That first half performance, very, very similar to the one that we saw a couple of weeks ago in the first iteration of this fixture. But if you're looking towards Altona, they have a lot of positives to take from this game, a lot of decisions for Goran Lozanovsky to make in regards to his starting lineup for next week's game as he said against South Melbourne. Do you play Alex Gust? Who do you put in the front three or the front four that they played this week? And can you continue the style of play that they had with the long balls and utilising their pace? I think there's a lot of positives to take for Altona, but all credit to Oakley. Another clinical performance and a professional finish in the second half.
Well, Oakley back here on Friday night against Green Gully. Altona back at home on Saturday against South Melbourne. Oakley, though, the winners today on Monday Night Football here at Jack Edwards Reserve. We're signing off here. Thank you very much for watching on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. And we'll be back next week, next Friday, when all the action starts again for some round 6 action in NPL Victoria. My name's Nick Tabano, joined by Ed Gooden today. Thank you again for watching on. The final score here at Jack Edwards Reserve is Oakley Cannons 3, Altona Magic 1.